So, as we launch into our Easter discussion for this week, as we wrap up the season, what do you love most about Easter? Like, what traditions and what, like, family events or, like, events in general, what do you look forward to?
Well, we always go to church, and then we do like a big family like lunch and I always get an Easter bunny.
You always get a bunny?
Yeah, a chocolate bunny. Why not?
Oh.
You know.
Okay. I was gonna say, you must have a lot of bunnies by now.
Oh no, just a chocolate one. You're never too old for those.
Oh, never.
How big is it though? Jeez.
What? That's
It's
like
like
a standard
It's just a
chocolate
lot.
bunny.
You
You're
don't
not
have to eat
eating it in one
day.
sitting.
I know, but still, it's a lot.
You don't just sit down, I'm gonna eat this whole chocolate Easter bunny.
It takes me like 3 days.
You know, I still have one. The
Oh,
crunch one. Yeah. All right. So I feel like I don't even have like Easter traditions.
There's not like a thing that you do every year for Easter.
I guess. I mean, like, yeah, we have dinner with like. I don't even think it's dinner. It's more like lunch. Like right after church, we'll have lunch. That's about it. I mean, because normally for me, Easter weekend is so like hectic. It's hard to plan anything to do any. Like, I mean, for my whole family, it's just like it's a rough weekend. Yeah. So, what about you, Ariel? What are your
I
Easter
love
traditions?
Easter. So, a week before Easter, we do well, not every year, because sometimes they don't be coming out that good. But we do, like, the hot cross buns, and you bake bread and stuff like that. So we do that. And then I always make, like, little treats for the kids, like in Sunday school and children's church. It's because why not? You know? And I'm not, like, I like to make things, but if I kept them at home, it wouldn't be a good situation.
Yeah.
Like health-wise. So I justify making things by saying, oh, I'm going to take them to the kids. And then Easter Sunday, we always used to go by Auntie Angela's house, like right after church. And it would just be like all the cousins and like the whole family would just hang out after church. And then so we play volleyball like across the street. That was just like a regular thing that we do. But it's like, I don't know, when it's on Easter Sunday, it's just different. Like, we hang out all the time, but when it's on Easter Sunday, it's a little different. I don't know why. And then we always used to go to either to a park or to, like, the Rocks. Where is it? Like in Bay?
I have no clue where it is.
The Rocks. Where you walk on the rocks. We used to go there. And now we started doing Easter egg hunts with, like, the children. That's fun. I love Easter.
I'm so glad my grandmother cannot see this because all the stuff you mentioned, like the hot cross ones, forgot all about that she does all of that.
Wow.
And I'm normally helping her make all. Good times.
Yeah, you're forgetting things? That's one thing I know about Kevin. He does that a lot. A lot.
That's one thing I learned about Kevin.
I'm about to launch both of you off this.
Do it! I'm ready.
Yeah, then your drink's gonna go flying and
then they'll guess what it is.
yeah, and then who's gonna clean it up?
We can clean it up. It's not gonna be that big of a deal.
Not with that carpet.
How is it getting that far?
You think I can't launch that drink that far?
I don't think you can.
Wow. Just the
Do it.
No, I'm not
Do
gonna.
it.
I don't need to prove anything to you.
So then why are you so offended?
It's
Anyways, that's not the purpose of this
Just cut me
episode
off.
today.
just cut me off. Wow.
We have to move forward. Move on with the episode.
All right.
So this episode's theme is Alive in Me. Jesus is alive in us. The Resurrection Sunday. Even though this is the week after the Resurrection Sunday. So why is Resurrection Sunday? Why is Easter Sunday so important? Why is the resurrection so important?
Because it's when Jesus rose again. That's okay.
I mean, good answer. Yeah.
I mean,
it
yeah,
is what
technically,
it
yeah.
is, but okay. No, but besides him rising again, it's also him it comes for full circle for his purpose and what he came here to do. He followed through. It shows like his stability and like, yeah, basically him doing what he said he's going to do.
Or like what he was sent to do.
Mm-hmm.
But like in terms of our relationship, like with the like our religion, why is it so important that he rose on the third day, that he was resurrected?
I think that's what differentiates like our faith from other religions, where they have um these human like figureheads in their religions that died, and you can go visit their tomb, right? Like we, their body is there or whatever. The fact that the main figurehead of our religion died but then rose from the dead after 3 days is super important. And it's super like critical and crucial to our faith. Because I mean, as Asha was saying, like it comes full circle. But if he had just died, um, I I don't know. I think the idea that our God would have died and just stayed dead, like I honestly wouldn't want to be like serving that God.
I feel like the fact that he came to die on the cross to save us, like he came to abolish like the consequences of death. And I feel like if he hadn't resurrected on the third day, like how would you, like how was that negate, like how does that get rid of the consequences of death, because you're still dead, like to the world. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I mean definitely. If to say that you've conquered sin in the grave, but to just stay dead is kind of like just conceding like defeat, like you've lost.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
yeah, he had to rise from the dead for it to make sense. Yeah.
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 Yeah. So like in knowing that Jesus had authority over death, like he came to die, and then in his death would fulfill his greatest purpose, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Knowing that he came and he had that authority over death, how does that kind of change any, or like comfort you in your times of fear and anxiety when it comes to like your purpose in life?
Can you repeat the question?
So,
Like I was looking at you say it and like you lost.
okay. Do I need to be more clear with how I say it, or were you just like
I would assume the worst for me right now.
only right now? Okay. So, knowing that Jesus had authority over like life and death, and that he came with his sole purpose to die, and in death he would do his most greatest, most powerful miracle. How does knowing that he has that kind of power comfort you in your times of fear or anxiety when it comes to thinking of your life's purpose?
Asha?
Or does it comfort you?
Yeah, definitely. Because I feel if I didn't know that God was with me all those times, I don't think that I would make it through all the fear and anxiety that I go through. And I think it would stop me from doing a lot, because I would let that fear overtake me and I would feel like, oh, I'm not called to do this, or I can't do it. But like knowing that, God is with you gives you another type of strength to like go out there and put yourself out there.
Yeah, I mean, I think the fact that not only did he raise Lazarus from the dead, but he himself came back from the dead. Um, it's sort of like I think you were kind of alluding to like the ultimate miracle, right?
Mm-hmm.
That it wasn't just enough for him to bring someone else back, but he brought himself back.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think the fact that he has power over like the ultimate end of things, right? When you're going through, like you said, like you're going through these anxious moments or seasons in life, or like whatever it is, depression, or you're nervous about, you're worried over what's happening surrounding your life and things like that, the fact that he can overcome the ultimate like human condition, I think gives me comfort that anything less than death he can overcome as well.
Yeah. And I think that also ties into what we were kind of talking about last week on Good Friday, when we were saying that he went through all of the things that we're like going to go through in life. So I think like we were talking about the last episode, the fact that Jesus did go through all of these things, and even then that wasn't his greatest triumph. That wasn't his greatest like miracle that he performed. I feel like that's very comforting, and not just like comforting, but it's like it's a very powerful move that like when people were like, "Oh, you're dead. You're in a cave by yourself and you're dead. You're never coming back." And he's like, "Ha, joke's on you. I just defeated death." And he like, and then sir.
Jeez.
And then he just like rose from the dead a couple days later like nothing happened. If that's not a power move, honestly, I don't know what is.
It is. I mean, it definitely is.
Yeah. But then it's like, so Jesus' authority, right? He came to the world to spread the good news, right? To be the good news that we would then spread. So how does it, knowing that he had that kind of power among, like, even amongst his disciples, like once he died and rose again, they were all like not scrambling, but they were all like, "Oh, we have to tell everyone. We have to like, the good news." How does his authority and his impact on just the disciples in that period of time, how does that impact your ability or your thoughts on evangelism and discipleship?
It's a good question.
Yeah, you want to go first?
I guess so. I mean, I think the fact that he sort of proves himself in a way, like you were saying, it's kind of like the ultimate like move that he does. It should, I guess, make you want to tell other people, right? Like it's. I know you had mentioned before, like the idea of it coming full circle. The way you described the disciples, I think of the shepherds when they are told by the angels of the birth of Christ, and then they go and start telling everyone that Christ is born.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like the disciples are kind of doing the same thing. Like, no, Christ is risen. We saw him ascend to heaven. We have to tell it. And then he gives that kind of final instruction of the Great Commission. So I think especially for, well, I guess at that point it was the 11. I don't know when the 12th one comes back, but I can't imagine them seeing Jesus do all of that and not going, "Yeah, I'm gonna keep this to myself." I can't imagine that thought going through someone's head.
But what about all of the people that are like, "You're crazy. That's literally impossible. I'm not going to believe you."
You mean today?
Yeah, like because, or even then, because a lot of people are still going to be doubtful at the fact that this man came, he died, and then he rose again on the third day. So how does like the fact that they were still willing, like, no, we need to get this out? How does that change when you think about the naysayers?
Well, I think someone doubting something that you've experienced doesn't change her experience.
But it could change your ability to share the experience.
If you're gonna say something, go for it.
I think that's just where like strength comes in, because I mean, even with me, like I'm kind of a realist. Like I need to know the facts before I can believe something. But that's just the thing with Christianity, is like it's faith based. Like, because yeah, you can experience Jesus in so many different ways, but I mean, if you're just looking for him to appear to you, for you to believe him, then that's just not going to happen. So I think it just goes on with like it being like you have to have like discipline and strength in order to like be able to live in a way that shows people Christ's love for you and them being able to see that.
I also think part of it is the fact that it wasn't just that one moment that made them go and spread the gospel, right? They had, let's say they weren't, they were with Jesus from the first miracle. So let's say they were with him for the full 3 years, right? During those 3 years, he did send them out and like to evangelize while he was alive.
Yeah.
Right? So the Bible does record that. So the fact that I think it's not just the miracle, but I think it's the depth of their relationship with him prior to the miracle that can propel them past the naysayers.
Yeah.
Right? And I think it's kind of the same thing for us, right? I think the deeper a relationship you have with Christ, the easier it is for you to tell someone else about Christ, right? Yeah.
And we've kind of also talked about that before. Like once you experience that like unending joy, it's like that song when you're in children's church or in like when you're little in church, you're like it's bubbling, right? What is it? How does it go?
It's bubbling in my soul.
Um,
I'm singing, I'm shouting, since Jesus made me whole. Folks can't
understand it, but I can't keep it quiet. It's like, and it's BUBBLING. It's bubbling in my soul.
Came in at the end. Came in at the end.
Because
as though she
that
did
was
the
the
whole
part
thing,
that I needed. I was going through the song, but that was the part that I was looking for.
And I'm mad 'cause I even put myself on camera singing.
But yeah, so like once you experience that unending bubbling joy deep inside of your soul, it's you kind of forget about the naysayers. But also going back to the the resurrection. Going back to the resurrection, how, in what ways does that prove God's love for us? How does the resurrection prove God's love for us? I hope you caught that whole transition.
Not of both of us, just you. I mean, I think it just kind of still ties into the fact that he died for us, right? To say that it proves his love for us. The fact that he died for us, and I think of it almost like someone like tries to take a bullet for you, right? They take the bullet for you, they're dead, right? It's
Not necessarily.
In generally, when you say someone's gonna take a bullet for you, that's what it means, right? They're willing to die for you.
Okay.
Right? No. So
there's always a technicality.
I know. But someone does that, right? It's like this great act of love, right? But then Jesus loved us so much that though he knows he needs to die for us, he still doesn't want us to be alone after he's died for us. So like he comes back from the grave. And I think, it is him just proving his love for us. Him just coming back and saying, yeah, I did all this. I started you on this new path, but I'm still going to be there to guide you in this new life.
So like I came to give you new life, but you don't have to figure it out on your own.
Right.
And does that, knowing that he has come not just to give you new life, but to kind of walk you through it, I feel like that kind of gives us a little bit more hope, like for our lives. Like he's not only has he come, and he's not just there. You know what I mean? Like he's an active part of your life. He's an active member that you should always be consulting with, like throughout your day to day. But this is another. Oh, this isn't along the same lines. But do you have any questions about the resurrection? Like, how do you know it really happened? You know what I mean?
Wait, what?
I just said it doesn't have to go with that line, along those lines. But do you ever think about it?
Think about whether or not it really happened?
No, not like whether or not it happened, but like the exact accuracy of how it's like recorded.
I've never questioned.
Never?
It, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I've never questioned like the integrity of like the fact that he came, died, and rose again.
Okay.
But like, I want to know all of the details. Like, how do I know? that it wasn't like, because in each chapter of the Bible, right, it was a
Mhm.
disciple. In the New Testament, it was a disciple's like recollection.
Mm-hmm.
Can we just cut this out? Because the look that you're giving me right now.
No, I'm trying to see where you're going with this
Okay.
question.
It was just a funsy question.
I mean, I don't have doubts about
Not like doubts, but like questions.
questions, but I've had questions about other things and like what in the faith.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm so lost.
don't you? I mean, you
Yeah.
have had questions.
Yeah, I've had questions. Not doubts, but questions. Like,
Like-
I would like to know, who are the people that, like, in the trial, right?
Mm-hmm.
The people that were requesting for Barabbas. Who were they? Were they just randos off the street?
Oh,
Were
okay.
they-
I'm thinking like you like had
I
doubts
doubted
about
the
res-
resurrection.
Yeah,
No.
That's what I'm trying to
no,
figure
no.
out. Like,
No.
oh yeah, I've-
that look that you were giving me was telling me that, but I didn't. Okay.
Yeah.
No.
Because then you're
I
talking
don't
about
doubt
like
the resurrection.
you're talking about like the disciples' account of like
Yeah,
the gospel. I'm
because
like,
like
where are we going
if
with
I
this?
were to tell a story and you were to tell a story, it would be different, even if it was the same story.
Okay,
We would be picking up on different things.
right.
How do we know that they all picked up on everything?
First off, what you described is exactly what happens. All four gospels
Yeah.
tell the same story but give different perspectives of what happens.
Yeah. But what if something fell through?
Then you would have to look at what the Bible says, that all scripture is given by the inspiration of God and is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness, that the man of God may be
You said that very quickly
Perfect.
and a little low.
thoroughly furnished unto all good work. I'm trying to make sure I remembered all of it. And I don't think I can actually say it slowly, because I just have it memorized like fast, if that makes sense. Like I haven't memorized saying it that way. You get it. All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Asha's my friend, and I'm her friend. Yeah.
All right.
We're all friends here.
No, apparently, I'm not her friend. We're gonna have to talk about that in another episode. But
I think we've talked about it enough.
but I think God included everything that
Needed
he
to be included.
needed us to know about Jesus. That's why, again, John being the last gospel in the last chapter goes, there's so much more we could have written about him, but
Yeah. But I want to
we
know
don't.
like the unnecessary details.
I feel like everyone wants to know that to some degree. Yeah, we want to know the unnecessary
Yeah.
details, but I
Like,
feel like that answers
the
your
jury.
question. Like they're unnecessary.
Who was the jury asking for this murderer to be released? Who picked them? Like, you know how we have jury selection?
I don't think it was a jury. I think it was a crowd of people.
Yeah, but like,
that were
how
just
did they get
there.
access to this trial? What are the requirements? You just show up?
I feel like you can like look that up.
I
Like
probably could. I just
historically,
never have.
But that's not like a Bible question. Like you can look up
Just-
like the
I was just wondering if
Roman
you had any
trial.
if you had any curiosities. All right, never mind. I'm sorry. I'll just turn to Google for all of my questions ever.
I'm still so confused about how we ended up talking about this.
Anyways, what could you do to share the good news this Easter?
The way we just had this whole conversation. So, what could you do to share the news?
Have fun
For
editing-
one,
have fun
I'm not
editing
going to
this
talk about
episode.
the unnecessary things that weren't mentioned in the Bible, and hopefully I don't get quizzed on
Fair
those
enough.
when I talk to people about the Bible.
Fair enough.
I mean, I think there's the obvious things of just inviting someone to church for the Easter weekend, which I think for a lot of people, like Christmas and Easter is when they're probably most open to
Yeah.
coming to church, just because it's
The two monumental, like,
it's the holidays,
holidays.
right? It's the holidays, so people kind of understand that. I think now you have the added layer of just like sharing like your church's live stream on like social media,
Mhm.
right? So that like your friends and stuff can see it. I can't think of anything beyond that. What do you have, Asha?
I would say, like, because almost, I'm going to say a good chunk of the people I know, Easter is just about the bunnies and
Yeah, like
the
the
Easter
egg
bunny.
hunts.
And I mean, while that is cute, it is not what the purpose of the holiday is. So I would probably post like something on social media that like talks about Easter, or like or like my cousins and stuff, I would like tell them about what it's really about, like the whole story, as it is worth sharing.
Yeah.
Very much so. So, I think, let me, okay. What could you do to share the good news? I have to like get the exact wording back. So me and my coworker, we always like to, because she's a very like old school like Christian.
Wait, who?
Like my coworker,
Okay.
she's an older woman and she's very like old school in her tradition. So like every Friday, regardless of if it's like Lent or not, she doesn't eat meat. Right? Like that old school.
Mm-hmm.
So we always, especially like during Easter and then during Christmas, we would go over like her traditions versus my traditions, and because we share like it's a shared space with four of us.
Okay.
The other two aren't as religious. Like they're Easter egg hunts and bunnies, and we're like religion. So we would always go over like her traditions versus my traditions, and like they would throw in like their little Easter traditions, which is like it's cute. They're good ideas, but they're not like the basis. You know what I mean? So we educate them, and then they give us good fun ideas as well. So I think it's a good mishmash of like observing the holiday the way that it's meant to be, but also like making it a fun spring event.
Yeah, I mean,
But there's a very fine line, I think, between getting lost in like the festivities and like the like egg hunts and bunnies and baskets versus like the religious tradition.
and that's kind of what I was gonna say, because it's weird, because I think like now a lot of churches, we do the egg hunts and things like that as a way to, I guess, kind of get people in the door to some degree. Or I mean, I know some churches actually do it outdoors, so maybe it's just to create the opportunity to tell them about the actual Easter story. And I think that's kind of like what you were kind of alluding to there. We shouldn't lose sight of the actual reason for this holiday, which is the death and resurrection of Jesus Christ. Because it is easy with all of the other festive stuff that happens, to lose sight of it. It's just weird that, like, at least with Christmas, like, even with the festive stuff, Jesus is still kind of like there to some degree. Like, some people still, like, people still understand it's Christmas, Jesus is born, so they may not be like really focusing on that, but they may have like a manger thing up somewhere, things like that.
Like
with
it's there,
Easter,
but it's like in the background.
yeah, but it's there. I feel like with Easter, like, it's so easy for people to just totally ignore Easter itself.
Like the reason, like what
Yeah.
is Easter?
And just focus on bunnies, eggs, and
Candy.
Yeah,
like Easter basket stuff.
Yeah, and it's amazing that it's so easy for that to happen.
When it's
But
like, when you think about it, that was like I said it before, like that was a power move. Like that was like for someone to put themselves through the torture of like a crucifixion just for your sake, then to rise, to die, defeat death, and then come back alive to prove that he has in fact defeated death. I feel like that's like movie worthy. Like there should be so many like movie adaptations of like just
there are,
but like more dramatic, like Hollywood, like as popular as Marvel. That's
So,
not
I
just
don't
like
know
the
if you've
Passion of the
heard
Christ.
of this movie called The Passion
Yeah.
of the Christ. How many times do you want to see a man get tortured to death?
I'm not
Literally tortured to death.
but I'm just saying like that's so dramatic. Like I'm not gonna like relate it to like a Marvel movie, but I feel like it doesn't have to.
Get there. You're almost there.
I'm almost there.
You're almost there. You got this.
Like it doesn't have to focus on like the gory bits, but like the actual meaning behind it. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah.
Like the actual like the fact that he came, he did these crazy wonderful miracles, but that's not the sole reason that he came. He came to defeat death and to give you life. And that aspect I feel like should be a lot more like whoa, Easter. You know what I mean?
Where did the Easter bunny even come from?
I have no idea.
I was just like, what? Who thought of that? Like,
Easter bunny origin.
And when they thought of it, did they know about why the holiday was created? Because that's kind of brave of them to put the Easter Bunny over.
It's a good point. It's a really good point. It's kind of the same thing though with like Santa and Christmas. Like, how did he just
Yeah.
like hijack?
Well, there was a
the
movie about that. Like, it was like a little claymation movie that we watched when we were younger. But it was just
I thought you meant there was like an actual
no.
like the actual history of how like Santa
Well, it was like
and
an
Jesus being
adaptation.
born.
Not like
the
relating.
same- yeah.
Not relating them. No.
Yeah. No, I actually know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I've seen that movie. But
The reason for the season, the resurrection, was a very pivotal moment in Christian history, if I do say so myself.
I agree.
Do you?
oh yeah, I agree.
Okay.
I definitely agree.
Whew.
'Cause-
Was on the fence there. I'm kidding.
all right, guys.
I see the dramatics now.
My life is dramedy.
It's pretty spot on. I
What can I
see it
say?
now. The dramedy.
Is that a good thing or a bad
No,
thing?
it's a good thing.
It's
a good
just
thing.
it is. It doesn't have to be good or bad. It can just be. Well, I hope you got something out of this episode. I don't know how long it's going to be after all of the edits that needed to be made, but I hope there's some content worth saving.
If not, I may just like put like the pastor's sermon from Easter Sunday.
Right,
like,
just put it over.
Just drop it in.
Just the audio though. Just the audio.
Just us laughing while he's preaching.
And this concludes our Easter series. I hope you kept track of everything that I drank. And didn't cheat.
Are we supposed to like reveal? When do we reveal the answer?
At the beginning of the next
Okay.
series we could do. Look at us. Thinking about things sometimes.
I thought you were gonna do the Polaroid thing. Like, look at us. All
I
right,
don't
never
know
mind.
the Polaroid thing. What's the Polaroid thing?
No, the look at us. Paul Rudd.
Oh, Paul. Oh! Now I know what you're talking about. Anyway, the moment's passed.
So guys, next month in May, at the church, we're going to be increasing some of the stuff that happens in our building for our youth ministry for Pursuit. So one of the things that will be happening is that we will be bringing back, or I guess reintroducing, a youth service that will be happening on Fridays, which obviously means there's going to be a conflict between people watching the podcast and people coming to the service.
Oh, no.
So what that means is that starting in May, the first week in May, we're going to move our episodes from Friday to a surprise night. So just be ready for that because it's going to happen.
Should we have them comment what night works best for them?
That would be a cool idea. I feel like we should do a poll,
Yeah.
right? So I have to figure, I guess, how to set up a poll on Facebook now, but we'll do that and we'll find out what night works best for you guys. But yeah, we are going to be moving it from Friday nights. It's going to be the same great content that you love so much.
Good.
It's
So
going to be
good.
the same arguments because we really just argue about the same things every episode.
Basically.
We're going to find out more about how little Ariel actually knows about
I
me.
know a decent amount of things.
Clearly not. But hey,
Quiz me. Next episode.
it'll be like a bonus episode or something. Sign up for a Patreon.
I'll create the question
You're going to create the questions about him that I need to answer?
for both of you guys. We'll do like
Ooh.
a friends when they did the.
Oh, yes.
All right, so that's what we're doing next episode. Okay.
Stay tuned. Stay
So,
tuned.
But yeah, let us know in the comments or stay tuned for like a poll. Right, we are gonna change it from
Friday nights.
Friday nights, and maybe that just means it comes out earlier Friday. But just be ready for that. Just want to let all of our dedicated viewers know what's going on. But yeah, we hope you enjoyed this talk on Easter and everything about it, and we will be back here again next week. With some what?
Or will we?
Yes, we'll be back next week.
I know, yeah.
Why?
Oh, you got a little mystery.
No, we don't want mystery. We want people to watch.
Yeah, well, they're going to tune in to see if there's anything uploaded.
They'll be like, "Whoa, are they?"
Right?
And they'll
Exactly.
keep checking.
No, they're just gonna not tune in.
I don't know about you, but I'm
We have
curious.
faith in
I
our
would
believers.
keep refreshing until something new popped up.
All right, guys. Maybe we'll be back next week. Prove me wrong that you guys keep checking for a new episode next week. That may or may not happen, but it will happen.
But when will it happen? Ooh, no, I'm kidding. That's in May. That's not in April.
Oh man, I'm gonna stop this episode here.
Yeah, it was
because
supposed to have ended a while ago, but then
we can really keep on rambling.
okay, bye.